So how can I, Andrea, have the biggest positive impact? I feel deeply that the biggest positive impact I can make through educating people, educating leaders, raising awareness, and teaching people my method because it's so solid, so deep, so intense, and it puts you into your core. It brings you to life. It puts you on your true purpose, on your path. It makes you self-connect with your soul. It helps you deal with your mindset. This is where I came to. This is my purpose. And this is also the reason why I didn't grow any further with my beauty business, because with that business, I cannot have the same impact. Yeah, maybe I could make money, maybe I could build an amazing brand worldwide because our service is amazing and we got asked by clients from all over the world to bring it to their country, to their city. But my true purpose, my true calling is teaching, educating, awakening the world. So let's see the journey, what I've been through, and how I got so far to get to my true purpose. When I say that I want to teach people, I need to have many things in place, personality-wise, resource-wise, knowledge-wise. I have to have the right skill set. I have to see the whole picture. So there's a lot that crafted me to be who I truly am. And yes, I started from zero. I was always ambitious, but in the beginning, I would see myself working for a big company, becoming a leader, having the car, having the luxury life, because by then that was all I could see from the world. On the spiritual path, I started from zero at the age of 28. On this journey, I went with my gut feeling and I challenged myself. And sometimes, for example, I would take trainings and I still didn't have the money. And I remember I took a very expensive training, 5 days in Thailand for 11K euros, and I didn't have the money, but I knew that I still have some months left and I will make that happen. So I was there on that training because I really wanted it. Whenever I felt like this would get me to where I need to be and this would give me value, I invested. And sometimes I didn't have the money and sometimes I was in minus, but I just made things happen and I didn't let it stop me. I spent a fortune on education, but in terms of mainstream education, I have 2 degrees. I studied food science. Also, I'm a rural development engineer because I come from the countryside and this is very close to me. I'm also an esthetician. I have the beauty salon. I studied fitness in terms of spirituality, mindset, and personal development, whatever you can imagine. And sometimes I went to big international trainings. Sometimes I went to gurus. Sometimes I just learned books, but I was always learning until after 8 years, I felt like I don't get answers anymore. I have to dive deep inside and find my own answers because my things are deeper and I still feel blocked. This is how I also created my own method, and then I got followers, I got my students, I was training healers, but then I felt like this country is too small to me, so I wanted to grow big. I had several attempts to go international, to do my stuff in English, but I was not ready. I didn't have the strength, I didn't have the knowledge, I didn't have the charisma, I didn't have that level of crafted leadership to be ready because I want to be a good leader. So I feel that right now everything's aligned for me to be the leader that I want to be. As I told you earlier, I built my own business, which challenged me a lot, money-wise also, leadership-wise, trust-wise, abuse-wise, in how to do marketing, how to build brand, how to sell things, how to attract clients. And I have a salon that gives the best service in the city, and our clients love us. So this is a very soulful business. It's not about mainstream numbers and profit. I traveled a lot to get to know people, to get to know cultures. I also learned a lot of languages. By now I speak 6 and some others at basic level. I tried to learn Hebrew and Arabic, but I didn't have enough time and motivation because it's more complicated. But that also gave me some insight into the energy. And also, since I was dating international people, very interesting and deep, beautiful souls, that also gave me insight into the energy of those cultures. And then a lot of past lives came up. So it's a very deep, meaningful, and interesting journey, digging, and also closing of my own past. It felt like whenever I traveled, since I processed deep things, it felt like a closing of my past and also getting a part of myself back from there. For example, with Spanish, I have this sense that it feels like my mother tongue, although it's not, and I'm Hungarian. I grew up in Romania as a minority, which pushed me to learn perfect Romanian. Otherwise, I was bullied again, but that helped me develop my language learning strategy because I'm a survivor and I'm a warrior, but also gave this Latino fire. And this is why I feel a bit different here in Hungary, where people are way more quiet and way more compromising. I did a lot of training. I did a lot of live videos. I had tons of one-on-ones. I had group trainings. I was not always perfect, but I was always learning in the process. The amount of videos and meditations I did, I would say thousands of hours of videos, hundreds of hours of live videos that I deleted, thousands of meditations. So I'm very skilled and confident on my own terms. I wrote several books and only a few of them came out in Hungarian. I did a lot of practice. And a lot of the times, things ended up in the trash because it felt like it's not good enough. It felt like I have an idea, okay, let's do it. But in the end, it failed. So it was a lot of practice, trying to make things happen and then failing. But I always stood up and started over again and again and again. I did a lot of self-work, and when I had intense periods of time, sometimes it went up to 5-6 hours a day of digging, working. And sometimes I had to, especially, for example, when I became a mother in my own childhood, my trauma and abuse got triggered. I didn't want to hurt my son. I didn't want to inherit all this package, so I had to work it out. And I was pushed to work on myself. Otherwise, I just fail. I did a lot of research upon the past. For example, this war between the man and the woman, this past thousands of years. And the research I made mostly in the invisible. What patterns are there? What energies are there? What patterns block me, for example, as a woman, to feel that I have the right to manifest as a man? And many times I bumped into this blockage and I had to find its root. And sometimes it led back hundreds of years. I did a lot of research. Why is the world the way it is? Why are people the way they are? How they would change. A lot of people are still in a very primitive mode. What would change the world? So I went very, very deep. I did a lot of study of the different roles as a human, how I'm supposed to be as a mother, as a partner, as a business owner, as a woman, as a lover, and so on and so on. And I try to always craft myself. And yes, I understand that a lot of people say, oh, you are good the way you are, and they feed the victim part of you, but there's a lot of advantage in you stepping into your power. There's a lot of benefits because you're not a victim anymore and you bring out your best. You're full of energy, you're aware, you make wise choices. So I don't see any excuse why someone shouldn't get to his or her own best version. I don't see it because my life is so much more fulfilling, happier, healthier, stronger. I'm in such a power mode and I'm able to do so much. And that makes me even happier And the amount of help, support, and love and good energy I'm able to give to people is immense. So that made me so much wealthier from inside. Well, needless to say, I'm editing these videos, so I'm good in website building and video editing and all that with automations to the extent that I need them. But it felt like I get things done so much faster, and I want to do things sometimes my way. So right now I rather do my own videos. Maybe once it would change. Since I was a masculine woman and I come from a farmer family with very basic stuff, no style, I had no sense of feminine. So I had to recraft and redefine myself and see who I am. This is why I did a lot of change in my lifestyle. I love to go to the gym. I love to be strong. I love to be healthy. Also crafting myself as a woman in my feminine and creating my own self-concept of who I am. It's like an image that you create, how you want to be seen in the world. It is this beautiful harmony of the inside and the outside. It's not about the luxury brands. It's about this harmony. And yes, sometimes quality is more expensive and it's beautiful, but sometimes it's just useless. In terms of my true purpose, I have to share a turning point in my life where I was very cruel and drastical with myself. It was a point where I could see all the things in the world, how we abuse animals for fur, the amount of plastic waste accumulated, and then the oceans, how we abuse life in the oceans, all the selfish businesses, and I was angry. And since I'm so aligned with the planet and with everything, I could feel into it. I can feel into the pain of the planet. And I was very upset and angry to the point that I could spit myself in the mirror. And I meant it. And I was sad. And I was holding myself accountable. And you would say that this is insane. But for me, it was not. So I held myself accountable that after so much self-work, after so much teaching, although I made a lot of difference in my country, but still I'm nowhere. I have no impact on the world. So what I did was, since I knew that affirmations worked and the right affirmations worked, I retreated for 3 months and I did 5,000 to 6,000 affirmations a day. Each and every affirmation creates energy. So there was tremendous amount of energy created for me to step on my true path, to put myself in a position that I would have impact on the world. It was tough. Nothing else mattered for those 3 months. It was a deep state of sad depression. And because of this loads of energy, my mind broke several times. Sometimes past lives came up where I'm about to get executed. Sometimes just my ego couldn't bear the situation and the energy and it just died. Sometimes tried to scare me. So it was very tough. And I would say that I got to the edge of my sanity. So I learned a lot of things through that experience. I created a tremendous amount of energy. And then one day I stopped. Right now, about 4 years after, I feel like I will get in this position to have impact on the world, because now I feel this deep alignment, this clarity upon what I want, upon where I'm going, and I feel this tremendous amount of support that I'm getting in my life. I feel that I found my true voice and I'm ready as a leader. So I want to make a difference. Yes, as you can see, there's a lot of things that I learned, that I explored. So I made sure that I see the big picture, and when you see more or less whatever you need to see, that's where you can make wise decisions. In my life right now, seeing and learning so much, I feel that I can make wise decisions. And I feel that I have a lot to teach. Along this journey, there were these different parts of me who were sometimes fighting, sometimes holding each other back, sometimes pulling me one or the other way. I would mention a few of my sub-personalities, It's worth of looking into yourself in terms of these different parts of you and analyze who is that persona that's making you do one thing and that holds you back in another thing. So there was this child who wanted to prove that she's good enough, who worked so hard but wasn't truly recognized. And she always wanted success and money. But then there was this spiritual self who wanted to teach, who wanted to make a difference, wanted to understand self in the world, who went after these true values. So the other part of me went after the fake values, and this part of me went after the true values. Now imagine these two in a battle. Imagine a half year of my life on one side and another half on the other side, ruining everything that the other one has created. So yeah, it was not easy with them, but right now they are very crafted, aligned, and okay. Because the first one understood what she had. And then there is number 3, the adventurer, and she helped me explore the world. She helped me take risks. She helped me always stand up and look at things, even at problems and deep issues, with curiosity, with the eyes of a joyful child who would look at the world with so much admiration. And at this point, when I process so much trauma and so many deep things, I feel that it's a blessing that we have the positive and we have the negative emotions, and we have this beautiful opportunity to climb up and down this ladder. And there's so much beauty in pain, for example, especially that pain comes with such deep and beautiful lessons, transformations, cathartic experiences. So this is how recently I see those parts of me. This adventure helped me tremendously on this journey, but I just had issues with being consistent, getting job done, focusing on one thing. So sometimes I went like this. In the end, I'm here, so it's all good. Then there's number 4, the mother, with this deep motherly love, with the very strong protective instinct. You cannot imagine how this comes out, and it brings my eyes to tears even right now. So when I decided to divorce, I asked myself, what do I want to teach my son? To sit in a compromise or to look for happiness, true happiness? And I chose the second one because this is what I wanted to inherit to my son. When I go for the planet and I want to make a difference, it is also because I want my son and my grandchildren to still have a green planet where we can still have air to breathe. I'm by nature very motherly and protective, so whenever that gets triggered, I just turn into this lioness, and nobody dares to put up with that. She created some conflicts in my life because she comes with this deep sense of truth and justice. So I fight for things and I stand for things. Also in this video, this is also why it is a bit difficult to do this recording, to talk about these deep things, because some people might not like to face the truth, especially if they are big, influential, and have a strong ego. But I'm ready to say it out loud, and I'm ready for the consequences, because every day the world gets more and more destroyed. So I want change, and the lioness wants change. There's a lot more sub-personalities. You can study yours. You might have different ones. I just mentioned my major ones. You can do a lot more self-discovery this way to see which parts of you support you in what matter or hold you back. It is beautiful, especially to work with them. So by now, I would love to summarize what took me to get right here, right now, to step into my true purpose. I had to understand people, understand myself, understand the world. I had to work out my weaknesses, my trauma, and also my issues with people through which I could get triggered. And this created this deep state of flow with everything. Then I also created my own business, which gave me a lot of experience in terms of leadership, in terms of manifestation, in terms of creating something that is me. It was also beautiful to see that my energy as a leader gets mirrored in my business, And my business's main issues were basically my issues. So yeah, I had to practice a lot of humility to look into those lessons. And then since I come from this childhood that I had, it took me a lot. And I would say that I could make it only by this age at around 41, 42, where I felt like I'm safe in general, and I have this sense of safety, because before I was always in a standby mode, always in fear what would happen, what would turn wrong. So yeah, I could create this safe space and safe energy around me, which I'm so glad for. I had a lot of life experience, and it's way different when you experience life from a mainstream point of view, or you get out of your comfort zone, you challenge yourself, you take risk, you push yourself. That's a way different way to go. I also try to always learn lessons and grow, and I accumulated this deep knowledge that I'm also sharing right now, and that I'm so much grateful for. It is very important to never listen to your fears, and to learn to deal with failures and still not stop doing things, to keep challenging yourself and get out of your comfort zone. I think this is the crucial part of it, because the rest you figure out. But here is where people get stuck the most. And yes, on this path, I got the clarity of what I truly want. So I'm right here, right now. A lot of people don't take the courage to step on their path, to challenge themselves, to get out of the comfort zone. But in my case, I would say that I'm so lucky that I had so much hardship in my life, and I had this very difficult heritage from my family, because this pushed me to explore, this pushed me to save myself. It opened my eyes, and right now I'm not just another sheep following mainstream society. So it pushed me into understanding life, myself, and people, and what it's all about. And right now I will say that life is a game where we are here to grow, to learn, to be challenged, and to understand this deep meaning that there's no right or wrong. There's just lessons. And pain is okay. But without pain, without lessons, without drama, it would be so flat and boring that probably everybody would be on alcohol and drugs. So basically, how I got to my purpose is I analyzed where I came from. I was put on this path of self-discovery. I mapped up what I bring. I worked myself through that. I fed my curiosity, challenging myself, listening to my inner voice. And as I achieved those little goals, and as I took every step, I had to recraft myself because I had problems. Every step on the path of achieving my goals linked back to the problems from my childhood. So I had no other choice but sort it out, because I'm a high achiever. And I'm very grateful that right now I have this huge clarity what I want to do. I want to teach. I want to write books. I want to do my retreats. I just want to enjoy life, making other people fulfilled, because I want to spread light and make the world better, so that my grandchildren still have a planet. And I have a lot to give, even more. I am not possessive, so I cannot say I want $1 billion business. If I have $1 billion, I would invest it into projects and ideas and people who would make the world better. And that's what I will do if I get into the position.